The Stoic trick for not caring what people think. Marcus Aurelius. There's a moment almost everyone knows you're about to do something, post something, say something, wear something, try something, and a thought stops you cold. What will people think? And just like that, the decision isn't really yours anymore. It belongs to an imagined audience in your head, judging before you've even acted. Marcus Aurelius, nearly 2,000 years ago, identified a specific mental trick for breaking this exact pattern. Not a mindset, not motivation, an actual practical technique. Today, we're going to break it down. 5 steps the Stoics use to stop outsourcing their self-worth to other people's opinions. And the third one is the one almost nobody actually practices, even though it's the most powerful. Rule 1. Separate the fact from the opinion. The first step is recognizing something most people blend together without realizing it. There's what actually happened, and there's what someone thinks about what happened. These feel like the same thing in the moment, but they're not. If you make a decision and someone disapproves, the disapproval isn't a fact about your decision. It's a fact about their perspective, shaped by their own values, fears, and experiences, which have nothing to do with you. Marcus Aurelius practiced separating these two things constantly. Not to dismiss other people's views entirely, but to stop confusing someone disagrees with I did something wrong. Once you can hold those as two separate things, an opinion stops feeling like a verdict. It just becomes information, sometimes useful, often irrelevant. Rule 2. Ask who's actually judging you. The second step is deceptively simple, but it changes everything once you start applying it. Before letting someone's opinion affect you, ask, who is this person actually? Not in a dismissive way, in a genuinely curious one. Is this someone whose judgment reflects wisdom you respect, or is this someone reacting from their own insecurity, habit, or limited perspective? Marcus Aurelius pointed out something almost embarrassingly obvious once you notice it. We often give enormous emotional weight to the opinions of people whose lives, values, or judgment we wouldn't actually want to imitate, a stranger's passing comment, an acquaintance's offhand criticism, someone who has never built anything themselves, criticizing your attempt to build something. If you wouldn't trade lives with this person, why are you handing them the power to define how you feel about your own? Rule 3, imagine the opinion as a sound, not a truth. Here's the rule almost nobody actually practices, and it's the most powerful one. When criticism or judgment comes your way, the Stoic trick is to mentally treat it the way you treat background noise. Not suppress it, not pretend you didn't hear it. Just let it pass through the way wind passes through a room without leaving a permanent mark. This sounds almost too simple to work, but try it the next time someone says something critical. Instead of immediately absorbing it as truth about who you are, pause and notice it as just a sound someone made, words shaped by their mood, their day, their history. You can still consider whether there's something useful in it, but you do that deliberately after the pause, not automatically, in the half second of emotional reaction. Marcus Aurelius used this exact technique on himself constantly, especially as someone whose every decision as a ruler was being judged by thousands of people simultaneously. He couldn't stop the judgment. He could only choose how much weight he assigned it before it reached him. Rule 4, return to your own standard. The fourth step shifts the question entirely. Instead of asking, did I meet their expectations? Ask, did I meet my own standard? This requires something most people skip. Actually having a clear internal standard to measure yourself against. Not a vague sense of trying to be good, but specific values you've actually thought through. What does integrity look like to you specifically? What does effort look like? What does honesty look like? Once you have that internal standard clearly defined, external opinions become much easier to filter. If you met your own bar, criticism becomes something to consider, not something to be devastated by. If you didn't meet your own bar, that's useful information, regardless of whether anyone else even noticed. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire under constant scrutiny, and what kept him steady wasn't ignoring feedback. It was having an internal compass that didn't reset every time someone disapproved of him. Rule 5. Accept that approval was never guaranteed. The fifth and final step is the hardest one, because it asks you to give something up entirely. You have to accept fully that some people will simply never approve of you, no matter what you do, how well you do it, or how much effort you put in. This isn't pessimism, it's accuracy. Trying to be universally liked is not a realistic goal. It's an exhausting, unwinnable pursuit Because people's approval depends on factors entirely outside your control: their mood, their values, their own insecurities, their history with people who remind them of you. Marcus Aurelius made peace with this early, not by becoming cold or indifferent to people, but by releasing the specific, draining need for everyone to see him a certain way. Once approval stops being the goal, you're free to focus on something far more sustainable: doing the work, living by your standard, and letting the chips fall however they fall. So here's the trick, put simply: separate fact from opinion. Question who's actually judging you. Let criticism pass through like sound instead of absorbing it as truth. Return to your own standard and accept fully that universal approval was never available to begin with. None of these make you indifferent to people. They make you anchored, steady enough that other people's reactions inform you without controlling you. The next time you catch yourself asking, "What will people think?" try asking a different question instead. Did I meet my own standard? That single shift is where real freedom starts. If this gave you a practical tool you can actually use, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe to Booked Wisdom, because peace doesn't come from being understood by everyone. It comes from no longer needing to be.